The wedding album lies open on Aunt Maxine's coffee table, its glossy pages reflecting the pain in my chest. I stand frozen, my fingers numb, staring at my brother Nolan smiling next to his new wife. The same brother whose wedding I thought was tomorrow. "Elise, honey, I thought you knew," Aunt Maxine says from behind me, her voice thick with guilt. The crystal frame I was holding slips from my hands. It crashes to the floor, glass shards spreading across the wood. The sound feels like a mirror breaking inside me. "That's not possible," I whisper. I pull the invitation from my purse, the thick cream envelope still looking as elegant as ever. "Look, June 15th, tomorrow." Aunt Maxine takes it, her hands shaking as she squints through her glasses. "Oh, Elise," she sighs. "The wedding was last weekend. They sent you the wrong date." "On purpose," I say, my voice flat. The room tilts. I took time off work, spent weeks finding the perfect gift and the perfect dress. I practiced conversations for relatives who always ignored me. How could they be so cruel? "Your mother," Aunt Maxine starts, but then she straightens up. "They thought it would be easier if you weren't there." I remember the moment I got the invitation, standing at the mailbox, feeling hopeful for the first time in years. Maybe it meant healing. Maybe they finally wanted me included. 2 months ago at a family dinner, Nolan had announced the engagement. He looked at everyone, except me. Still, I smiled, congratulated him, and pretended it didn't sting. I had driven to 3 stores to find the right dress. Not flashy, just enough to say, "I belong." The saleswoman complimented my glowing smile. I thought it was hope. I kneel to pick up the broken glass. When Aunt Maxine tries to help, I shake my head. "Let me." My hands shake, but my voice is steady. They always treated me like I was invisible. Now they've made it official. No more excuses. No more softening their actions. Something shifts inside me. A deep crack finally breaking open. "I fought with your mother," Aunt Maxine says, wringing her hands. "I told her it was cruel, but she said you'd bring up awkward things. Ask embarrassing questions." I almost laugh. Embarrassing questions like why I quietly paid thousands to save the family's lake cottage. Or why Nolan's business failures are forgiven while my successes are ignored. I spent years trying to earn my place. Now I gather the broken frame pieces, wrapping them in the gift paper I chose so carefully. Even that looks like a joke now. I thought if I did enough, they'd see me. Aunt Maxine squeezes my hand. "Some people can't see what's right in front of them, Elise. It's not that they won't. They just can't." And just like that, I understand. No amount of success would ever be enough. I've been trying to earn love that should have been unconditional. I allowed them to define my worth. I look again at the wedding album. No sign of me. I wasn't even considered enough to edit out. They made their choice long ago. Now it's time I make mine. I won't be invisible anymore. The next day, my hands grip the steering wheel as I pull into my parents' driveway. Their house is perfect from the outside, with trimmed hedges and spotless windows, hiding the cruelty within. I stay in the car, watching through the window. They're laughing, surrounded by wedding photos. "Best decision we made was making sure she wasn't there to ruin it," Nolan says, holding up a framed photo. My stomach turns. They don't know I'm here. 3 minutes later, my mother finally sees me. She hides her champagne glass quickly. "Elise," she says flatly. No surprise. No warmth. "The wedding was last weekend," I say. "You sent me the wrong date on purpose." Nolan doesn't look up. "I needed one perfect day without you." No lies. No excuses. Just plain truth. "You've always disrupted our peace," Mother adds, fiddling with her pearls. "Can't you understand we wanted one day without your intensity?" My father stares at his hands, saying nothing. I stand while they sit. Just like always. I speak slowly. "I've paid thousands in repairs for the lake cottage. Did you think I wouldn't find out you're telling people you still own it?" Mother waves her hand. "That's what successful children do. They help. It's your job." "You play with marketing spreadsheets while we build real things," Nolan adds. To them, I'm not family. I'm just a wallet. I see myself in the mirror above the fireplace. The woman looking back seems small. Apologetic. But not anymore. Let me explain, I say, pulling out a folder from my purse. Here's documentation of every payment. And here, this shows I'm the sole owner. You signed over your half 3 years ago when Nolan needed money. Father looks up, his face showing the truth dawning. You can contest it, I say, calm now. But everything is legal. Jenna made sure of that. Jenna? Our attorney. Mother gasps. My attorney. For the last 5 years. 15 minutes later, I walk back to my car. My hands tremble, but I walk tall. They thought I'd keep giving while they erased me. They were wrong. Back home, my phone buzzes. Another distant cousin calling about my behavior. Mother has clearly been talking. They sent me a fake invitation, I say. On purpose. There's silence on the line. There must be some misunderstanding. No, there isn't. Later, I scroll through Nolan's online wedding photos. The caption, surrounded by everyone who matters. The final blow comes in the mail. A formal letter from my dad demanding I return the cottage to its rightful owners. As if I stole it. I lie awake at night. Family photos spread around me. I wonder if I imagined ever feeling loved. At 3 a.m., I almost call my mom. But then I stop. Whose peace would that restore? Certainly not mine. Instead, I open my laptop and start a spreadsheet. I log every dollar, every check, every lie. Brick by brick, I build a wall. Not out of anger, but clarity. Tuesday afternoon, Aunt Maxine arrives with deli lunch and a briefcase full of records, emails, texts, old financial statements. Your mother never deleted anything, she says. She always wanted leverage. The messages show it all. Lies. Manipulations. Years of using me. Jenna arrives and scans the documents. This strengthens our case, she says. The judge will see a pattern. Thomas, my financial advisor, adds security to all my accounts. The next day, Jenna calls. The judge granted the restraining order. They can't come near your office or home. Aunt Maxine calls soon after. Rebecca canceled bridge with your mother. Said she couldn't face her. One by one, the dominoes fall. Nolan's marriage crumbles. His job disappears. His financial safety net, me, is gone. I run my fingers over the letterhead of my holding company. The same one that owns the cottage. Truth always finds a way, one document at a time. You thought I'd just give it back and never mention the legal transfer? Or that I'd keep funding the family while being pushed out of it? The words come out easier now. I'm not your bank. I'm not your safety net. I'm done. For the first time in my life, my mother looks at me with something new. Not disappointment, but fear. I made myself clear. Then the intercom buzzes. Miss Hartman, Jenna Morales is here for your 2 o'clock. Perfect timing. Jenna walks in, briefcase in hand, her strong presence filling the room. Mr. and Mrs. Hartman, I believe our meeting is over, she says, calmly pointing toward the door. This is family business. My mother snaps. That's exactly why Miss Morales, my lawyer, is handling it, I reply. From now on, all communication will go through her. The difference is obvious. Jenna calls me Miss Hartman with respect, while my mother glares at me coldly. As Jenna shows them out, my father glances back once, confusion replacing his usual confidence. When they're gone, Jenna returns with more paperwork. Ready to make it official? She asks. With every paper I sign, I feel stronger. My signature becomes steadier. The document giving them 30 days to leave the cottage feels like a declaration of independence. Your mother's signature is solid, Jenna says, tucking the documents away. They have no legal claim. As I finish signing, my phone lights up. Nolan is calling, for the first time in years. I let it ring. I'm not answering calls like his anymore. The next day, papers are laid out across Thomas Bedford's fancy desk like a battle plan. I sign each one, slowly and confidently. Joint accounts closed. Loans I co-signed transferred. Investments separated. Thomas checks them off with the calm voice of someone who's seen family empires fall. Perfect timing, he says. Your parents should be halfway through lunch at their country club. I check my watch. 12:37. Mother is probably ordering her second drink. Father is nodding at some retired businessman. I ask, What about the restraining order? And slide the last form toward him. Judge Harriman will review it today, Thomas says, adjusting his glasses. The documents are solid. You have clear proof of workplace harassment. I think about their surprise visits, the public scenes, the whispers around the office. My hand clenches under the desk. I've seen families ruin people, Thomas says, closing his leather folder. You're doing the right thing. His words calm the part of me that's been shaken for days. When my phone rings again, I expect to see Aunt Maxine's name. But it's building security. Miss Hartman, your brother is in the lobby demanding to see you. Thomas notices my face and motions to the speakerphone. I press the button. Is he making a scene? I ask, my voice calm. Yes, ma'am. We need to document the situation. He's demanding money. Thomas scribbles a note and slides it to me. This helps your case for the restraining order. I'm not coming down, I tell the officer. Please follow the rules for unauthorized visitors. 15 minutes later, another call comes in, an unknown number. Elise? It's Kendra, Nolan's wife says, her voice unsure. I'm outside your building. I brace for another attack. I saw everything, she continues. What he did in the lobby. I didn't know he could act like that. Through the window, I see her by the fountain, phone to her ear, shoulders hunched against the breeze. He said you refused to help with the wedding, that you were jealous, her voice cracks. But that wasn't true, was it? You didn't even know when it was happening. Her words hang in the air. I'm sorry, she whispers. I should have asked why you weren't there. I watch her brush her hair back. The diamond on her ring shines. Just 3 weeks married, and already seeing behind Nolan's act. Thomas quietly steps out to give us privacy. When the door closes, I finally ask, why are you telling me this? Because I saw his face today, she says. It looked like my father's when he used to threaten my mom. I'm not waiting 30 years to admit what I see. When Kendra reached out, I wasn't sure. Could someone tied to my pain really become an ally? Or was this another trap? Later that afternoon, Aunt Maxine arrives at my office with a worn briefcase. I've been saving these for years, she says, pulling out old emails, texts, and financial records. Your mother never deleted anything. She thought she might need it someday. I flip through the papers. Each message reveals years of emotional and financial manipulation. Need money for Nolan. Elise won't mind co-signing. Tell Elise the cottage repairs are minor. Don't mention the foundation problems. She's coming for Thanksgiving. Hide the new boat until she leaves. Each message hits like a punch. Jenna arrives mid-folder, scans a few pages, and her face hardens. This makes our case stronger, she says, pulling out key messages. The judge will see a clear pattern. Thomas returns, confirming extra security on my accounts. They can't touch anything, even if they know your info. The next morning, Jenna calls with big news. The judge granted the restraining order, she says. He called it a clear pattern of emotional and financial abuse. They can't come within 500 feet of me, home or work. Later that day, Aunt Maxine calls. Rebecca canceled her bridge game with your mother, she says. She couldn't look her in the eye. One by one, people begin stepping away. Uncle Stephen takes them off the holiday list. Grandma's friend declines dinner with them. Nolan's drinking gets worse. Rumors swirl that Kendra might move out. His money troubles grow. When the official eviction notice reaches my parents, reality finally hits. The consequences they never thought possible are now happening. I run my fingers over the letterhead of my company. The same one that bought the cottage 3 years ago when they couldn't pay taxes. The same cottage they still pretend is theirs. Truth doesn't hide. It comes out, one document at a time. A week later, the sunlight in my office lobby feels different. I've entered this building so many times, but never like this. With security guards nodding at me as my parents arrive with Pastor Williams. Their faces are full of regret. Mother's coat is crooked. Her hair, usually perfect, is slightly messy. Father looks nervous, something I've never seen. The pastor holds his Bible tightly. Elise, he says gently, your parents asked me to be here to keep things peaceful. I don't shake his hand. You've been coming to our Christmas dinners for 20 years, Pastor. You're not neutral. Mother steps forward, voice trembling. We've been praying about your behavior. My behavior? I laugh softly. The cottage has been in our family for generations, Father says. Your grandfather built it. Forgiveness is divine, the pastor says. They're still your parents. Some bonds are stronger than disagreements. Disagreements. I repeat, anger rising. You mean deliberate cruelty? Think about what people at church will say. Mother whispers, glancing around the lobby. Families shouldn't share their problems in public. The Thornton girl had the same problem, and everyone's talking. I stand taller. I was promoted to creative strategy director. I say, did they mention that? Or that I just landed the Richardson account? The pastor stammers. That's wonderful, Elise. I take out 2 envelopes and place them on the desk. This is the wedding invitation I got. This is the real one Aunt Maxine showed me. The pastor frowns at the different dates. They sent me the wrong one on purpose, I say, so I wouldn't attend my brother's wedding. It wasn't personal, he says. Sometimes families do hard things to keep the peace. I've spent my life forgiving, I say, turning the other cheek so often, I've been spinning in circles. Now I'm choosing to live. I look straight at him. Did they tell you I've paid for the cottage for 8 years? Or that every time Nolan failed, I bailed them out? Or that they forgot to invite me to Thanksgiving 3 years in a row, but remembered to call when they needed the roof fixed? The pastor's expression shifts. He looks from me to my parents. Elise, after all we've sacrificed. My mother says, tears falling. I turn fully to her. Name one sacrifice you made for me, not Nolan. The silence is the answer. I hand a manila envelope to my father. These are the family photos I kept, I say. The ones where I'm cut off or standing apart. I held on to them, hoping one day I'd feel like I belonged. His hands shake as he takes it. I'm letting go of the obligation of being your daughter, I say. You're free from pretending I matter. You can't just stop being family, my mother says loudly. After all we've... You already said that, I interrupt, still waiting for an example. Stan, the security guard, steps forward. Everything all right, Miss Hartman? Yes, Stan, I say. My visitors were just leaving. This isn't over, Elise, my father says, holding the envelope. Actually, it is. I turn toward the elevators. Stan will show you out. I don't look back. 2 weeks later, Aunt Maxine tells me Nolan lost his job. His marriage is cracking under money stress. I feel nothing but distant pity, like watching strangers in the rain. A letter comes to my office, written in my father's perfect handwriting. I place it beside my coffee and stare at it. It could be guilt, more pressure, or something different. I haven't opened it yet. That choice, the freedom to choose, is what I've gained. A year later, morning sun shines through my windows. My own photos hang on the walls. Landscapes from trips I took when I stopped waiting for invitations. No family portraits. Just moments that belong to me. The phone rings. For the first time, I don't flinch. Elise Hartman. I say as I arrange presentation notes. It's a client interested in my marketing approach. As I explain my philosophy, I glance at the calendar. Birthdays I spent alone. Holidays that once hurt, now filled with personal goals. Half marathon in August. Photography retreat in September. A trip to Montana. Because I've always wanted to go. When the call ends, I smile. The cottage, once a symbol of control, is now my peaceful retreat. In the mail, I find a thick cream envelope. It's a wedding invite from my cousin Rachel. The date is correct. There's a note. It wouldn't be the same without you, Elise. Please come. I pause. The old me would drop everything, bring gifts, prepare for invasive questions. Instead, I check my calendar. It overlaps with my retreat in Maine. I write a warm note and send a thoughtful gift. Not to earn love, but because giving feels good when it's my choice. That evening, Aunt Maxine arrives first with apple crumble. Thomas brings wine. Jenna rushes in, laughing from a busy day in court. 1 year, Thomas says, raising his glass. 1 year of boundaries that could scare a fortress. To real family, Aunt Maxine adds, smiling. And the strength to start over. We laugh, deeply and freely. Later, I open my father's latest letter. This time it's different. I failed you, he writes. You deserved better. I place it in a wooden box. Not displayed, not destroyed. Just part of the story I no longer need to fix. Next to it, a mentoring program flyer and a Portugal trip plan. Both are part of a future I chose. As I close the box, I wonder, is healing about fixing things or finding peace? Is family about blood? Or those who treat your heart gently? Some bridges burn for a reason. Others can be rebuilt. What would you choose? The comfort of what you've always known, or the hope of what could be? Because in the end, they didn't bury me. They planted me. And I bloomed so wide. The world had no choice but to look up. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and follow. Because someone out there needs to hear. You weren't too much. You were just ahead of your time.